Hello everybody, what is going on? Hold on here, I need to pop out my chat. Pop out chat. Copy, okay. And then let's go over to here and properties. Paste, okay. Can anybody see me, hear me, or any of those kinds of things? Hello, hello, hello. Okay, I think I'm live here. Restore chat. Not sure what the deal is with that. Might have screwed up chat. See, I'm trying to incorporate chat into my actual stream here, and don't know. Oh, there we go. It's really tiny though. Okay. Let me see if I can scale this bigger. Hold on a minute, folks. Okay, that's a little bit bigger. The problem is like, as more chat comes in, I don't know if I'll be like not seeing folks. Okay, well, I'll just leave it like that and see how that works for a second, and I might have to abandon that. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the normal intro. Alrighty. Yeah, so this is VR Game Rankings Daily Vlog Live, and let me get off of that now. I have that on loop, of course. And what I'm going to go ahead and put on right now is, let's see here. Guess that's still downloading. I'll put on this one. Okay, so basically the #1 story of the day, and it might kind of be a non-story at this point, but a possible #1 story of the day is Valve is going to be exhibiting something at Gamescom, and this, of course, is in Germany, I believe Cologne, Germany. Later in the month of August. And at first, when we heard about this at first, we thought, oh, this is going to be huge because maybe they're going to be showing off Knuckles. Maybe we'll finally find out something about the 3 Valve VR games. And then, of course, the bubble got popped really quickly because what happened is, okay, I got to fix chat. See, because yeah, I don't know, can you try to be a bit more enthusiastic? Yeah, well, right now I'm in the middle of like trying to get this working. So the starts of these shows, this is the way the start of the show is going to be because I'm still trying to figure this crap out. I need to figure out how to get chat in here without it taking up such a gigantic space. So that's, and speak a bit faster. Yeah, okay. Timo Weber, you probably, you might want to just bounce, bro. Because you know what? What I'm going to do on this show is what I want to do on this show. It's live, and I'm going to do whatever the F I want to do. And so if you don't like it, go somewhere else. Because the reality is like, I don't... like this dream of being like a big time YouTuber, like that dream crashed and burned. So I don't care anymore. So I'm just gonna, like, some people, this one guy was telling me the other day, he was like, dude, you're cussing too much. You're dropping the F-bomb too much. And one of my thoughts on that is like, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be myself because I don't care. I don't need to be like some special YouTuber anymore because it hasn't, trying to be like a special YouTuber hasn't worked out for me. So why should I care about that? But anyway, what we were talking about here is we're talking about Gamescom, and Valve is going to be exhibiting there. Now, Valve's Doug Lombardi said that it is nothing to get excited about, that it's just some Steam-related business meetings with publishers and developers. So apparently Knuckles is not going to be there. The 3 VR games that they might have, or maybe one of those 3 VR games, is not going to be there. However, if all of that stuff was going to be there, do you think they would actually tell us about that? I don't know that they would actually tell us about that. So I still think something could possibly be shown behind closed doors. I still think maybe the finalized versions of Knuckles, they might want to show that off to a bunch of European developers. They could, and when they show that off to these developers, they could have a demo of one of their VR games. So I think there's still some slight hope that something could happen at Cologne. Because Valve doesn't go to these things very often. Valve typically doesn't go to these things. So hopefully something happens. Okay. Yeah, so I guess if I leave chat down here like this, I'll probably get the most recent chats. But it's still really small, and then if I go over here to the YouTube page, it doesn't show me the chat anymore over here because I popped it out. And so that makes it hard for me to read chat. That is kind of a problem. I have a question. Do you guys see this? Do you guys see a red line on the screen, or do I only see that in OBS? And I'm not talking about the red line with the words scrolling by. I'm talking about like a red square. Do you guys see a red square? Let me know if you see a red square, because if you don't see a red square, then I could just kind of move chat around when I need to see it. But yeah, no lines. Okay, so cool. If I need to move it around, I can move it around, and then we'll worry about that. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the second story of the day. So I got to go ahead and change this little video here. And let's see. Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. Sorry, peeps. You know what I've been doing is I didn't copy all these other videos from another spot. Hold on one second. My apologies. One second here. I got to remember I have to copy all those videos to another folder. Okay. Sorry about that. So cut. Get them into the... I was wondering where all my videos were. I had like 5 different videos that I was going to be popping in, and none of them were around. I was like, what is going on here? Okay. Here we go. And let's pop the first one. Okay, and so the cool thing now is I have headphones, and so I can actually hear the audio now. So one of the things that I've done is I have the brand new version of OBS. I was using like a really old version of OBS. Now I got the newest up-to-date version of OBS, and it does have the option for you to hear like trailers in your headphones and stuff. And so I can actually just adjust this on the fly if I think it's a little too loud. And so right now we have the Marvel Powers United. This is a brand new trailer that just came out. And one thing that we should give Oculus a little bit credit for is they're really the only VR company that makes like legitimate style trailers that you could actually see on television. But the question is, do these ever go on television? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure every once in a while they probably have these things on television. But really the big news with Marvel Powers United VR isn't so much the game. I mean, we all know about the game. It's coming next week on the 26th, $39.99. We keep finding out about more heroes that are going to be in the game, more villains that are going to be in the game. So there really is a lot of stuff that is in this game. This is kind of like Marvel fan service plus VR. So if you are like a huge Marvel nut and you're also a VR nut, this is probably like a dream come true, I would imagine, for some of you guys. But the real big news here is that there is going to be an Oculus Rift bundle. and an Oculus Rift Marvel Powers United VR bundle. And so I just popped that bundle up over there. You know what I've done as far as pictures? What I've realized is you take a picture, you make like a 20-second video out of it, and then you loop it, and then that way I can just pop it into this window and it'll fit perfectly. So that works out nice. So yeah, this is the Marvel Powers United VR bundle. It is going to be coming to retail stores, you know, like Best Buy and whatnot. And then if you order this, of course, over Oculus.com, you'll probably get this new bundle. And is this new bundle like a really big deal? I would say no. This bundle is not a really big deal, but it is a $40 value if you were going to buy Marvel Powers United VR. Like if you were really jazzed to buy Marvel Powers United VR anyway, then yeah, you're saving 40 bucks. So this is a nice little bonus. I'm assuming that if you buy this, you still get all the other free stuff as well, like Robo Recall and Dead and Buried and, you know, all the other little tiny bits of like Lucky's Tale and all that. Well, I mean, that's just free, period. But I would imagine you'll get all that stuff as well. So, you know, hopefully that's part of it. Let's see here. Got to check something real quick. Okay, hold on one sec. Okay, yeah, so, you know, I'm assuming that you get all that free stuff as well, and it's not a bad deal. You know, it's not a bad deal to have that in there. I think it's a good bundle, and hopefully that commercial will actually end up on actual TV. You know, hopefully it ends up on actual TV. And, you know, speaking of Robo Recall, I'm showing Robo Recall in the window right there because if you are an HTC Vive owner and you've never played Robo Recall, because you do have to pay $29.99 to get Robo Recall if you're not an Oculus Rift owner. It is on sale, I understand, or maybe it's a permanent price drop. I'm not sure if it's a sale or if it's a price drop, but it is $19.99 on Oculus, and there is Robo Revive or whatever. It's like a special version that you can also, it's like a mod that you can get if you get this, and then it should run really well on your Vive. The downside is I think you still have to have Oculus software on your computer, and for some people they absolutely do not want to have Oculus software on their computer, and I understand that because I don't like having a lot of extra software just running on my computer if I'm not really using it all the time. But Robo Recall, you know, it's a primetime game. I do remember when I had, when I just had a Vive and I didn't have a Rift, and I was playing Robo Recall through Revive on my Vive, and one of the irritating things about it was like grabbing the robots and throwing them around. Like it always felt just a little bit janky on the Vive wands, and then when I got actual Oculus Rift controllers and was playing it on the actual Oculus Rift, it felt a lot better. And then also, if you have kind of a lower end PC like I do, when you're playing it on Oculus Rift, you get the asynchronous space warp and all of that, so a lot of times it makes some of these things play a little bit better. But yeah, Robo Recall is on sale. Let's see here. And you know what? Speaking of sales, Spark is $8.07 on Green Man Gaming, which I think is a pretty damn good deal. I think Spark is pretty cool. I don't know if you guys have ever, like, what do you guys think about Spark? I talked about this before. There's a lot of these racket games, Cyberpong, Racket NX. Racket NX actually just came out of early access, so that is available now, and we got like Hollow Ball, and so this is just a thing. It's a thing in VR, and I think part of it is because it's like Tron. You know, it's like all of these racket games kind of have this Tron-like look, and so Spark, you can pick it up from Green Man Gaming for $8.07. There's a lot of other sales that are going on at Green Man Gaming, so there's a lot of potential deals over there. let me go ahead and check. Oh, so I can look at chat in this other window here, so that's good. Let me see what people are talking about in chat. That was kind of crazy, Timo Weber. I went a little bit harsh on bro. Sorry, but the thing about it is like when I first start these episodes, because I still don't know what the hell I'm doing, I can get a little bit flustered in the very beginning, you know, because it's like, is everything working? Is sound working? You know, I was worrying about chat and all that. So I get a little bit flustered, my bad. It's almost, and then the other thing that sucks too is like when this goes on to YouTube as an archive, it has the whole entire thing. So if I spend the first 3 minutes of this video like screwing around and hardly talking and like setting things up, all of that is in. I wish YouTube had the ability to just trim off the beginning of a video, but I don't think they do. I mean, I could copy it and re-download it and then re-upload it and delete the other one. Okay, let's see what people are talking about. Mad Jim Jaspers. I always thought to myself that Gabe and the team didn't want to drop Half-Life 3 because they were waiting on certain tech, VR. Yeah, I mean, that's what we gotta hope. We gotta hope that they're not just completely but I mean, it's just been so long with Half-Life 3 at this point that you gotta wonder if they just don't want to deal with it. You know, they just don't want to deal with it. Half-Life 3 VR would move Vive units alone. Yeah, but think about how many people would be so pissed off. Oh my God, the VR haters would have a riot like none other if Half-Life 3 was like VR only. I don't think they could get away with that. I really don't think they could get away with that. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see. Jason Walker. Is it possible for a company as big as Valve to be any more or less exciting or seemingly less interested in keeping interest going in VR? Well, Jason, I don't know that it's Valve's responsibility to like keep interest going in VR. Valve has done a lot for VR, and you know, they've provided the lab for free, and that's a lot of good content that's in there. And they've done a lot in terms of like constantly patching Steam and fixing it when certain problems happen, even with like related to Oculus and that as well, and kind of being cool with Oculus from that standpoint. And you know, they've done a lot. I mean, I still believe they've done a lot. Like, they're coming out with the new Lighthouses 2.0. You know, they've redesigned the Lighthouses. Like, they don't have to do any of this. They're working on the Knuckles controllers. They are working on these 3 games. And one of the things that I think Gabe has decided internally is, I believe Gabe has decided that... Actually, let's switch this video up to something Valve related, since we're talking about this. One of the things that I think Gabe has decided is, I think he's decided that they're going to bring out these 3 VR games regardless of everything else. And that if it ultimately becomes just a terrible failure and VR never catches on, and it's almost like they wasted all that time and all those company resources making these 3 VR games, I think they've said, look, we're going to make these 3 VR games. That's all there is to it. We're going to do it. If they fail miserably, we're going to deal with that. If they single-handedly prop up VR, the industry in general, that's great. But they're going to go through and they're going to make these VR games. So I think Valve is actually, you know, I think they're going to stick with that. So I wouldn't say that they're not doing anything. They're just such a secretive company. They're like Nintendo. They don't tell you anything. Everything is on a need-to-know basis. And if you don't need to know, Valve is not telling you a damn thing. Mad Jim Jaspers. If they can somehow put these things in Walmart and places with high traffic, I guarantee you kids would beg for this. I think he's talking about the Oculus Rift. Yeah, they would kind of need to have a setup, though. They need to have a demo station. And the problem with demo stations and VR is it really needs to practically be a manned demo station. Like you almost really need to have somebody physically there. The only thing I think you could do with VR to not have it be a manned demo is you would basically have to take the VR headset and like have it attached to like a board or something where it's just locked into a board, and all you're allowed to do is like stick your face up in there and kind of look around and be like, oh, okay, cool. But if you're actually putting the headset on your head and all of that, you really have to have a physical person in the store with you. And a lot of stores, they're not going to be able to dedicate an employee to do that. It's like if we go back to Best Buy when they were doing those PlayStation VR demos, they had to have a contractor, like a third-party guy that would come out and he would handle those demos. And I remember talking about going to these PlayStation VR demos, and half the time you would show up and they'd be like, oh, the guy isn't here yet, he hasn't shown up, or oh, he's on lunch, he'll be back in a couple hours, you know, because the employees, they're not really trained for it. So anyway, let's see what Pete Shirey, still wondering what the pre-order special was, said it was reduced price, but then they say it comes out for $39.99. Yeah, you know, but that was what it was originally. When it was a pre-order price of $39.99, normally you would get $5 off these games. But yeah, there was no $5 off, so no pre-order. Steven Sales says, hi, hope the headphones are working for video sounds today. Yeah, I can turn the sound on for this game trailer, but there's people talking. This is like just like a Portal Stories video or whatever, but there's people talking on here, so if I have a trailer where there's people talking, you know, it's better just to have it muted. Let's see what else people are saying here. Jason Walker, video card prices are going down. You should save for an upgrade. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, video card prices are kind of going down. They're still inflated, but they're starting to get out of like ridiculous levels. They're starting to come back down a little bit, but they're still not where they were. And then it kind of seems like with the new NVIDIA cards just on the horizon, it almost seems like, you know, just wait for the new cards. And you pay a crazy premium for those new cards. And then also when those new cards come, then the 1070s, the 1080s, a lot of people will start selling those things off. And normally you could go to like Craigslist or eBay and get these cards used for a great deal. But now with this whole crypto mining thing, you would really, like Craigslist, maybe you can meet somebody locally and you can kind of play detective really and make sure, is this guy a crypto miner or is he just selling his old card? Because I don't want a used card from a crypto miner, because even though they don't spike in their usage, they're running constantly. You know, they're running constantly. I don't think it's a good idea. Jay Billions is saying Spark is awesome. Love it. Yeah, see, we got a code, VR Game Rank, or I don't know if it was VR Game Rankings or VR Roundtable. We got a code from CCP Games for Spark. I got to move my microphone here a little bit. It's twisted. Sorry about that. We got a code by CCP Games for Spark, and it was on PlayStation VR. And so that's where I played Spark primarily on PlayStation VR. And I really like the flow of the game. But honestly, for me, when I'm playing Spark, what I like is I like the training mode. Like, I don't even like the regular game. I mean, the game is okay. You're playing against somebody else and all of that. But I like the training mode where you're like trying to get points, and, you know, there's a bunch of different little training modes. I like the training modes. Great workout. Yeah, it'll give you a little bit of a workout. Have you played the new Marvel VR game coming out next week? That's David Cole. No, I have not played it. I'm sure I'm going to get my hands on that game one way or another. I don't know if Oculus will be hooking VR Roundtable up with a code or anything like that, but most likely I will get my hands on that game, because I gotta, even though, like, if I was just a regular, normal, everyday consumer, wasn't doing any kind of website or any of this stuff, I probably would not pick up Marvel VR, just because it kind of looks like this arena battler that I'm kind of worried about that. So yeah, great sale going on at Green Man Gaming. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff on sale over there. Fluke says, I wish Valve would sort out Team Fortress 2 support. I really miss it from the DK days, but Joe Lugwood pretty much said they thought that initial support was a bad idea. Yeah, I mean, one of the things I've always wondered with Valve is how hard would it really be for them, like, you know how we're waiting on the Half-Life 2 VR mod, like from the Half-Life 2 VR mod team, and it was Steam greenlit and all of that sort of thing. Like, I wonder why they haven't, like, why doesn't Valve do it? You know, I mean, how hard would it be for them to make a VR version of Half-Life 2, and it probably wouldn't be very janky at all. I wonder if the concern there is that they feel like it would have to be like super perfect, and so they'd have to invest too much time on it. I don't know what the deal is there. Steven Sales is saying, Anthony, we'll sell you my 1080 when the 1180 comes out. Hey, you know, maybe I'll look you up at that point. I kind of am thinking of just jumping all the way to the 1180 though, and just saying F it, you know, and just like completely skipping a generation. You know, but I kind of need to build an entirely new PC, and that is going to be incredibly expensive. So that's pretty much mostly what's going on here in chat. So why don't I go ahead and move on to another little story I had today. So I'm going to talk about a game that I played yesterday. So let me go ahead and change this trailer here. Let's switch over to a different trailer. Okay, and I'll see what our volume is like on this trailer. Okay, so we just kind of put it right about there. Okay, so this is Summer Funland. Yeah, Summer Funland. So VR Roundtable, we did get a code for this game, you know, full disclosure. And Summer Funland is actually made, well, it originally was published by G2A Games. You know, G2A Games had this like Summer Funland and all of this. And then now they're called like Monad Rock or something like that, or Monad something. I forget what it is, but they basically changed their name. And this game, Summer Funland, is available on Steam. I believe it's $20, and it's got good reviews. You know, it's actually got good reviews, and it's kind of like Carnival Games VR, Pierhead Arcade. You know, there's a lot of these games that are giving you basically, there's a lot of these games that are giving you like a carnival situation, you know, where you're in like kind of a basic little carnival, you're in the midway, you know, there's little carnival games to play, there's roller coasters, you know, all kinds of stuff like that. And so this game right here, I played it last night. Now I gotta tell you though, that I only tried a handful of the different events that are in this game. I did that unicorn thing where you're riding on this crazy unicorn. I did that. Did not do the skee ball yet. Let's see what they're showing on here. The best thing of all, easily, was the underwater voyage, or whatever they called it. That underwater voyage, I think, is worth like $10 all by itself. I mean, it is really well done. Now, it's completely on rails. So all you're doing is just standing in one little spot, and, you know, you don't do anything. Yeah, Monad Rock is the name of this developer. But you're basically just standing in one spot, and you're inside this like 20,000 leagues under the sea kind of like submarine kind of thing, and you're going through the ocean. And it's really interesting because after playing Subnautica and then playing this, it's interesting to kind of get the comparison there. I think it's going to come up on the video here in just a second. Yeah, right here. See, it really looks beautiful. It looks absolutely drop dead gorgeous. You have like these manta rays that are going right over you. I haven't tried the roller coasters yet. For some reason, the idea of being in a roller coaster and not actually moving sounds like the worst possible thing. And even when I was in the underwater sea thing, and you have this like, you have this huge cockpit that you're looking out of, so it kind of grounds you in the experience, I still got a little bit of oozy wooziness a little bit here and there. But I still have to play a lot more of this Summer Funland. You know, it's kind of cool. I mean, would I run out and buy this for 20 bucks? Probably not. But it does have a lot of little mini games. It's very colorful, incredibly colorful. So let's bounce over to chat. I guess nobody has Summer Funland or gives a rat's ass. Charles Van Nolan. My daughter loves Summer Funland. It was the only thing she'd play forever. Yeah, okay, so at least one person out there knows what I'm talking about here. I'm going to turn down this music, though. It's a little goofy. Okay, let's see what Gingerbeard. Gingerbeard, do you have any TPcast Plus related news? Been waiting forever to get wireless VR, but didn't want the first version and its problems. In January, they said Q1. Now it's apparently Q4. You know, the one thing I do remember about TPcast Plus is I heard it got delayed again. But I don't know if this was like the Vive version of TPcast Plus or the Oculus version of TPcast Plus. Not sure. Steve from VR Roundtable fame, he actually... Oh, what is the point with the scrolling titles? Yeah, that's just these games right here. That's the top 20 most wanted HTC Vive games. I thought I could just put something over here where like some news and stuff would scroll by. I don't know. It might be kind of goofy. But I could change it all the time, and I could have like the top 100 rankings and stuff like that. Factory Life is saying, I have it. I believe he's talking about Summer Funland. Can only play bits at a time, but like it. Batman ride is cool. Yeah, that does kind of look Batman-ish. I guess it's probably like unlicensed Batman, you know. But yeah, I don't know. It looks like it might make me a little bit motion sick. But yeah, there's a lot of cool little experiences in Summer Funland compared to, say, like Carnival Games VR. I think it does have a lot of interesting stuff. The Firewall devs are going to stream live gaming sessions tonight. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, but going back to the TP cast, I was going to say that Steve from VR Roundtable, he bought the regular TP cast, the Oculus version. So he has that for his Oculus Rift. Haven't really talked to him much about it. We're taking a little break on VR Roundtable, and we'll be back in like another week or so. And so we're probably going to talk a lot about his experiences with the TP cast. I really do want wireless because Jordan Complex is saying, read my comment above. Marvel game is more of a wave-based shooter, kinda, but with multiplayer. Played it at Comic-Con last year. Yeah, I mean, that's what, like, my impression of it is they drop you in this kind of arena. You face waves of foot soldiers, then you probably get to the big villain, and you're in a co-op situation, so you might be playing with other people. And then it's kind of just rinse and repeat, which might be cool, but I don't know. You know, so it might be cool. Let's see if I can switch up. See, the problem is, guys, I don't have any other videos. I mean, I don't have any other stories that I wanted to go with. Why don't we throw on some Beat Saber, bruh? Yeah. And I can pump the volume now. So Beat Saber actually is in the news. There is a hidden song that was added to Beat Saber. So yesterday, of course, I talked about how on Twitter they were saying, you know, that there's going to be some type of announcement today, and everybody in the PSVR subreddit was like, yeah, we're going to get the date for Beat Saber. And other people were saying, oh, this is where we're going to be able to edit tracks and all of that. And then I thought maybe it would have something to do with the Beat Saber arcade thing. But now what it is there is a hidden track in Beat Saber, and I saw on the Vive subreddit somebody had a thread on how to find the hidden track. And so, you know, I guess that's already out there. That's the thing, is you try to do something and make it a cool thing, everybody's going to find out about it. So not much you can do there. Let's see here. See what's going on in chat. So the Jordan Complex, he's talking about Marvel Powers United VR, and he's saying the cool thing is you played a scale for your character size. I played as the Hulk and everyone was tiny. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. And, you know, I don't want to disparage Marvel Powers United VR and just say like it's a complete and utter dud. I have no idea. I don't know that it's going to be like my bag, so to speak, but I still think it will be kind of fun. If you play as Rocket Raccoon, everyone is huge. Pete Shirey is saying, excited for Marvel regardless. I was at the demo at Comic-Con. It was the game that made me notice VR and been hooked ever since. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it still looks pretty sweet. I really think, hopefully, Oculus... See, Oculus needs to figure out a way to have demos. Because the only thing... What Oculus has done, rather... Like, I don't know what is up with their system, where they apparently cannot have demos. And so instead of having demos, what they do is they give you like a free weekend with a game. But I think they're not going to want to give people a free weekend with Marvel Powers United VR, because I'm sure there are some people that when they get these free weekends, the second the game is available, they start playing it, and they play it all freaking day long, and then they play it all day long the next day, and then they play it all day. You know, there's like usually like 3 or 4 days that you have the ability to play the game. And so they just play it endlessly, and then by the time the free weekend is over, they're like, okay, I got my fill, you know, because the whole game was available to them. And so I really believe Oculus, if they're smart, they need to figure some kind of way to get demos, and then they could have a really short demo for Marvel Powers United VR. They could basically give you access to maybe one superhero, one stage, and just a few waves of enemies. Just give you a quick little taste of it. I think that would be good. Let's see if anybody else is talking about anything. Phil Yarn, I played Carnage Chronicles yesterday for the first time in a long time. That game has come a long way. Gunheart has too, for that matter. Yeah, you know, both Carnage Chronicles and Gunheart are very solid. Now, I will admit, when I first got Gunheart, I was not that into it. But as they continued to work on Gunheart, and if you go into Gunheart now, it's like a completely different game practically. And it's great for somebody like me that doesn't really care about multiplayer. It's almost turned into a single player game. And so it kind of has a feel. I mean, you can play it as a single player game. It's got like a story, and I mean, they redid the intro. There's like, I think there's a lady that kind of talks to you as you're kind of going through it. Gunheart, man, I need to get back into Gunheart. That actually reminds me. And Carnage Chronicles, I mean, they've got co-op now. I liked Carnage Chronicles from the beginning, because the thing that I would say about Carnage Chronicles is, I don't know if you guys know how much I love Vanishing Realms. Like, Vanishing Realms was, a long time ago, Vanishing Realms was like one of my top 5 VR games, period. And it's still up there. You know, I'd probably have to put it in my top 20, even though it's not like super long and all of that. But Carnage Chronicles was like, oh, here's another Vanishing Realms, but it's kind of doing some other stuff. And then the cool thing about it is you would be going up these staircases and around a corner, and you'd see this castle over there, and you're fighting these orcs and stuff. And it's like, oh man, I'm in this RPG world. It just feels really good. I really like Carnage Chronicles. I have to get back into that. Paradise Decay, hi. Hey, what's up, Paradise? The Jordan Complex. Have you heard of Redemption's Guild? I'm in their Discord. Might be my most anticipated VR game. Jordan, is that PSVR only, or is it coming to everything? Because I know there is a Redemption's Guild coming to PSVR, and I know there's people in the PSVR, PSVR subreddit that talk about Redemption's Guild quite a bit. But there's not a lot of information on Redemption's Guild. I'm sure in the Discord you can get a lot of information, but like, do they have a trailer for it or like a logo and stuff? It's, there's not a lot of information there. Fluke Rogi, I'm looking forward to Pixel Ripped at the end of the month. Just a bit worried, though, that it might be like Budget Cuts and be a game we've waited years for, only to find there's only 2 or 3 hours worth of content. Well, Budget Cuts has more than 2 or 3 hours, right? I mean, doesn't it supposedly take 7 or 8 hours? Speaking of Budget Cuts, oh my God, I haven't played that since like it originally came out. So many games I got to get back to. The cool thing about Pixel Ripped is I really think, you know, I should have the trailer for Pixel Ripped. Let me see if I can get the trailer for Pixel Ripped, because I think I have it in one of my other folders. Hold on one sec. Oh, do I not have the trailer? How lame is that? I don't know what, where I put the trailer. Let me look over here. Oh, I just have a picture of it. Okay, yeah, I don't know where my trailer is for Pixel Ripped, but I will tell you this. Pixel Ripped looks super cool, because the idea of Pixel Ripped is that you are in like 1989 and you're like a little kid and you've got a Game Boy, and so you're like in this regular cartoon world, but you got your Game Boy and you're playing on your Game Boy, and then some of the game that you're playing on your Game Boy, it like leaks out into the regular world. And I just think it's a really cool style of, and just the trailer, like everything they've shown about Pixel Ripped 1989, supposed to be coming July 31st. The thing that scares me the most about Pixel Ripped, I'll just grab the trailer real quick, it won't take too long. The thing that scares me the most about Pixel Ripped is the fact that it's only $19.99. That's what scares me, you know. Does that ever happen to you guys, where you'll see the price for something and like the price is almost too freaking low, and so you're like, oh shit, the price is way too low, this is going to be short, you know? I mean, sometimes you immediately, I mean, I know I immediately assume that if the price is just ridiculously, well, not ridiculously low, but $19.99 just seems kind of low to me, so I'm kind of worried it's going to be hella short. But while I'm getting this trailer, just one sec. Okay, yeah, what I definitely need to do is link my 4K video downloader to the right folder so I don't have to copy these things over. It's definitely something to do. Okay, one sec here, and we will get this Pixel Ripped. Oops. Get this Pixel Ripped trailer in here. Okay, so here's the Pixel Ripped trailer. Might need to turn down the volume a bit. Let's see. Yeah, see, it shows this little kid, you know, it's like in the old school. He's like playing Atari or something. And his mom's like, come on, get off there, fool. And then he like falls into this other world. And he's got his little Game Boy. Yeah, I believe the developer of this game is this lady from Brazil. And she's been working on this. I don't know if she has a couple other people that are working with her or what, but this lady's been working on this for like several years. And I think it's a really cool concept. Like I give Pixel Ripped Incorporated, the developers, I give them much love, because I do believe this is a really cool concept that they came up with. I think this would be really cool in AR as well, like playing something like this in AR. You know, because you have the actual character leaking into your real world. And imagine playing Mario in AR, where the Mario is on your sofa and the little Goombas are on your sofa. See, that's where I think AR might be hella sweet. You're not as awesome as that Steve guy. That's Steve checking in, I think. VR Roundtable in the house. Yeah, I was wondering, you know, I was just thinking this morning, when is like Reckoner VR or somebody going to hop into chat? That would be cool. Hey, Steve, why don't you tell us what is going on with the TP cast? I can read it live in chat. Is the TP cast all that in a bag of chips, or are you sending it back? Steve will buy something and he'll return that shit if you don't like it. But yeah, Pixel Ripped, I think looks pretty sweet. Coming later this month. Okay, let's hop back into chat and see what peeps are saying. Okay. I have songs and sabers. TP sucks. Steven Sales says that. Have you ever played Soul Keeper VR? Yeah, I've tried to play it. Just a long time ago. Just saw you were live. I'm at work and don't have audio playing, so can't hear you. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we're taking a little break here at VR Roundtable, so I think it's good. You know, we needed to take a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back and start doing VR Roundtable again. Um, yeah, I'm looking at chat. Nobody's really talking about Pixel Rip, so I guess nobody gives a damn about that. That's unfortunate, because I hope it's good. Get back to work, you slacker. Pete Shirey telling Steve to get his butt back to work. Martin Anderson says, I wish I got the TP cast earlier, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, my whole thing with wireless, like, you guys know, I mean, I've got this big area that I can play VR in. And so wireless would be huge for me. But one of the things that kind of bothers me about the whole thing is, like, you have to have this, like, router and all this other stuff. I don't know. It just seems like it's a lot of drama. Like, I think wireless, like, what I really want to see from the future in regards to wireless is, like, Oculus CV2, whenever HTC Vive has a legit consumer version 2, I don't believe the Pro is a real CV2 for the Vive. But when all of these companies have Vive, I mean, when these companies have a new VR headset, what they should do, I'm not saying wireless should be built in, like it should just straight up be wireless. I know that's going a little bit too far right now, but you know what would be awesome is if somehow they could build the wireless receiver into the actual head strap so that it's just there. So that when you buy the Oculus CV2, it's already got a wireless receiver built in. And then if you want to buy the transmitter, then you can buy the transmitter at a later date and it's already got the thing in. So you're not adding like an extra thing on top. Now, of course, I don't think a lot of the companies are going to do this. And the reason they're not going to do this is because they want it to be as super comfortable as possible. And if they add a wireless receiver somehow built into the head strap, unless they can do it in some really intelligent way, you know, maybe at the back, maybe it's just like, I don't know how they can do it. Somebody at Oculus, somebody at HTC, if you're in the business of making VR headsets, try to figure out how to build the receiver into the strap itself so that people can go wireless, you know, without having to like add all that other crap on there. Okay, let's see what's going on in chat. Check out Japan Studios' official channel. They streamed gaming sessions from Firewall 0 Hour. You know, I got to be honest with you. I'm just not that hyped on Firewall because I'm not a multiplayer guy. So, you know, I'm probably not going to run over there and check out what they got. Airman 929565. I have the retracting ceiling hooks for the cable. That works really well. You know, I've always thought about doing that as well. But the thing I'm always concerned with is way back in the days when I first got VR, all these retractable, it was a big deal. You know, you'd always see these videos of people that came up with all these really cool, you know, dog chain things, you know, to make it look really cool and make it work really cool. But the thing that I've always heard, though, is if you're playing a game where you're swinging your arms up somehow, like, you know, I don't know what game you'd be playing where you're swinging your arms like this, then you have these wires that are running up there, and then you swing your arm, and it's like, oh man, my arm is trapped. And so I've always had that fear, but I don't know, it might be that like 90% of the games you wouldn't have that problem. So maybe I should try to do that. The Jordan Complex, why don't they do a belt pack like Magic Leap? Yeah, because, you know, that kind of sucks to have to put something on your belt. Like how many, like sometimes I'm wearing sweats or I'm wearing shorts that have no pocket. And what, you know, then I'm going to have to do this shoulder strap. Oh, you know, speaking of Magic Leap, I signed up on the Magic Leap creator portal. And this, everybody, if anybody wants to buy Magic Leap, and I know very few of you would ever consider buying Magic Leap, especially when you find out how much the damn thing costs. But if you want to flip a Magic Leap, like if you want to buy a Magic Leap and sell it on eBay because there's going to be a very limited supply, you have to be signed up to the Magic Leap creator portal. Like, you have to sign up for that. Those are the people that are going to be allowed to buy Magic Leap. So I actually went ahead and last night signed into the Magic Leap portal officially to hopefully, I mean, hey, if they come out for $2,000, I might just freaking do it, man. I might do it with the idea that if I don't like it and I have to sell it for like $1,700 or $1,600 or something, and just take a nice $300, $400 loss, which would be really harsh. I want to see Magic Leap. I want to see it. You know, I want to see it in the comfort of my own home, kind of. You know, I could drive to San Francisco and get a demo, but when is the demo going to be available? Gingerbread. I've gotten to the point where the wires are annoying me so much in game, so I'm looking forward to the TP Cast Plus. No matter the cost, it should be better. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, man. And there's a lot of games where if you went wireless, the game would improve immeasurably. Like Racket NX, it just came out of early access. That's one game where if you went wireless, that game instantly improves by 20%. There's a number of games like that where you have wireless, they immediately improve just automatically. Nick McGowan, what are your 3 Valve game predictions and when do you think we will get them? Yeah, well, I mean, I have one real prediction. The one real prediction is Portal VR, and I think it's kind of a no-brainer, and I've said it before. I would wager thousands of dollars that one of those 3 games is Portal VR. I'm that confident that there will be some type of Portal VR. In fact, not only that, but I mean, there's some evidence for Portal VR by Valve, because just look at the lab. Look at Robots Repair. Doesn't it seem like Robots Repair could have been a very brief snippet from a much larger game? I think so. And then what was the thing that they came out with just recently with the Knuckles controllers? They had a little demo that came out with that where you're like on the moon and you're controlling like controlling like a little remote control car and all of that. That is in the Portal universe as well. So does anybody else find it slightly curious that these 2 little game snippets are both from the Portal universe? And maybe if Valve had a really big full-blown Portal game, that these 2 little snippets could be 2 tiny little pieces of that bigger Portal game. I think that's pretty much a no-brainer. Now, when are we going to get these? Well, obviously we're going to get one of them at least one of them the day that Knuckles becomes available, because Knuckles is not going to become available without one of those games becoming available. I think our earliest possibility is probably November this year. I think November, December this year is actually within the realm of possibility. Hopefully at Gamescom, they're showing that controller off and doing some stuff with that. And, you know, I mean, we can dream. The one thing I will say is this, is like, these Valve games, they're eventually coming. So every single day that goes by that we don't get those games, we're one day closer to getting those games, because they have to eventually happen. It just has to happen. And it's the law of averages. Eventually, one of these Valve games is going to come out. Eventually, eventually it has to come out. Okay, let's see. I am hoping for Half-Life 3. Yeah, aren't we all? I think they're going to stay away from Half-Life 3. I wish they'd make a Half-Life 3, but no one will ever. It's kind of like making a new Star Wars. It's like no one's ever going to be. I got to switch up this game trailer, even though I don't think I have anything else to really show you guys that I've already got built in here. Yeah, I don't really have much. Let me go into... I'll go into some of these other folders and see if I got a game trailer. Oh, you know what? Why don't we throw on this Hellfire trailer? Yeah, so the Hellfire is free right now. Has anybody gone into this? I'll give a little bit of volume up here. What about Torn? Yeah, I've talked about Torn. Torn is coming on August 28th. Does look very good. Heard that Torn is inspired by Black Mirror, which that is You know, I'm a huge fan of Black Mirror. If you guys aren't watching Black Mirror, something is wrong with you, because god damn, that show is good. I mean, that show just freaking kills it. Oh, Moondust. Yeah, Moondust was the name of that little demo that they had with the Knuckles controllers. Any news on Oculus Santa Cruz? I haven't heard anything Santa Cruz related. I played Hellfire with the devs. It's very smooth. Yeah, I mean, the downside, I guess, with Hellfire is it 2-on-2 or is it 4-on-4? It's kind of limited from the fact that there's not a ton of people in there. Yeah, Black Mirror is dope. I mean, Black Mirror, man. So you want to talk about like my favorite TV shows of like recent history? Like, I really loved the Battlestar Galactica show that was like, I don't know, it was like 2003 or 2004. Do you guys remember when the Battlestar Galactica that they redid? The first couple of seasons I thought were really good, and then it just went absolutely awful. And then another real cool TV show I was into for a little while. Did anybody ever check this out? Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles or something. It was, you know, that one chick from Game of Thrones. She was like Sarah Connors. And there was this Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. That was a good TV show. They only had 2 seasons. They only had 20 episodes or something like that. That was a really good TV show. I'm trying to think of, you know, there's a new show on Sci-Fi. I mean, it's not new, but it's like this space show. I've been watching this one. It's called The Expanse. I think it's called The Expanse. That's a pretty cool show. But yeah, we're just kind of going off topic there, talking about shows. So yeah, this is the Hellfire. Let me see if I can find another trailer. You know what's cool, actually? I can go in here and I can find, you know, I can just go to any trailer that's on my PC anywhere. So, like, I can pop up 2MDVR football, bruh. Dude, 2MDVR football is hell of underrated. This game is just fun. And the PSVR version is fun, too. I got a code, like Truant Pixel. Much love to Truant Pixel. These guys gave me a code for the PSVR version. And you know what? I was playing it on PSVR, and there's like virtually no difference whatsoever. It's like exactly the same game. I thought that was pretty cool. But I think it's just fun. It's a fun game. Just pure fun. You know, it's not serious. Not serious at all. Okay, let's see what's going on in chat here. Gingerbread just bought first-person tennis. Literally rage quit because of the wires not allowing me to get down on my knees and swinging my arms like in real life. Yeah, you know, it's kind of weird that tennis seems like such an absolute natural for VR, but the problem that we have with tennis is the ceiling. You guys probably can't tell, but the ceilings are low in here. And when I first got my Vive, there were a couple of times I scraped the top of the ceiling. You really need to have vaulted ceilings if you're going to be playing a tennis game. 12 Monkeys Sci-Fi. There's a 12 Monkeys TV show? Yeah, so Paradise Decay is saying The Expanse is Game of Thrones in space. Yeah, I've been watching a few episodes of The Expanse. I'm not completely in love with it. Like, some of the acting is kind of mediocre, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So I might continue to watch The Expanse. I'm a real sci-fi guy. Like, I like sci-fi, and I also like that, like, Twilight Zone type stuff. Like, you know, Black Mirror has a little bit of that Twilight Zone stuff. What are your thoughts on a possible Cyberpunk 2077 VR mode? My thoughts are you better have a hell of a lot of video cards to be able to run that. You know, I don't know. I mean, we're in the trough of disillusionment, so my thoughts aren't very good, because I think a lot of these game companies had VR done a little bit better. Oh, Charles Van Noland, are you out there? Because Charles, I think it was Charles, because I've talked about the trough of disillusionment on a VR roundtable episode, and he was like, I don't think you should bring up the trough of disillusionment because you're like making it worse for VR by bringing that up. And Charles, what I'll say about that is, like, I think we need to realize where we are right now, and let's just understand where we are Yeah, he says, hey, I'm here. Yeah, Charles, you were saying I shouldn't bring up the trough of disillusionment because, like, I think what he's thinking is some new random person is going to going to turn this video on and they're going to hear me talking about, yeah, VR's dead, man. And then they're going to be like, oh, okay, VR's dead. Guess turn this off, forget about VR, go back to playing Fortnite. But yeah, that's funny. I love 2MD, but my shoulder kills me after I play. Like, the cool thing about 2MD, and this is weird, it's like you'll throw a little pass to a running back, you know, or a wide receiver that's like 7 yards away from you, right? You'll throw a little pass to him. The guy takes off and he runs all the way for a touchdown. And even though it's happened a million times and you've already experienced it a million times, you just have this natural feeling where you're just like, yeah. It's just natural. You can't help it. It's like human instinct or something. Paradise Decay says, Fortnite's dead. Really? Tell that to my 2 teenage sons because that's all they freaking play. Main Fan says, VR Sports Challenge interests me more because of the unlocks. VR Sports Challenge is underrated, but the football is not as good. The football in VR Sports Challenge is not as good, but you know what is really good in VR Sports Challenge is the basketball. The basketball is actually, I mean, if you're not dribbling around, you know, you're just passing the ball and you're just in spots, but the basketball is actually really good. Okay, let me see if I can switch up to a different trailer now. We've been running that one for a while. This is Friday show, and we've already gone over an hour, I think. Oh, why don't we throw on To the Top? To the Top, man. PSVR. Yeah, I've actually, what do you call it? Panic Button and Electric Hat Games, they gave VR Roundtable a code for To the Top. And I've been playing this on PSVR, and I love it. It works great. It works really good on PSVR. Although the controls are a little bit jank-tastic because what you have to do is you have to hit one of these little move buttons to try to snap turn, and that can be difficult. And what I found that I typically do when I'm playing To the let me get some volume on this because there's good music on To the Top. I love the soundtrack of To the Top. I mean, I can listen to the soundtrack in my car, like straight up. I should listen to the soundtrack in my car. Like, if you could pay $5 extra and get the soundtrack, I'd do that. But when I'm playing To the Top on PSVR, what I've had to do is, like, I'll have my PSVR headset on, I'll have my Move controllers. I just kind of turn my body. Like, I'll keep my feet straight, but I'll turn my body, and then I'll grab over there, and then I'll turn over here, and I'll grab over there. And I only use the little X button to move on my controller. I only use that every so often, and I've been able to play To the Top pretty damn well. See, look, music by Capiac, Miramass, Night Day, blah, blah, blah. I love the music on To the Top, and there's a couple of To the Top songs that just get stuck in my head and just play on repeat. Let's see what people are talking about. Yeah, Main Fan, which is Justin, my good buddy Justin. I actually talked to Main Fan quite a bit. He likes the hockey part of VR Sports Challenge. I haven't done the hockey part that much. I need to get back into VR Sports Challenge. Asterisk Gaming. Do you reckon Resident Evil 7 will come to the Vive and Oculus eventually? Yeah, I mean, we keep having it on VR game rankings, like on the top 20 most wanteds and stuff like that. Like, it's still on there. And it just seems illogical to me that they would never bring it to PC when they could just they could release it right now for $29.99 and it would just be controller, you know, and you would stand up with a controller and you just turn around like this and just make it a controller. And it would still work pretty damn good, and they would sell a lot of copies of it. I don't understand. I wish we had somebody on the inside at Capcom that could give us some kind of like hint on what the hell is going on with that. Kev Gret, I keep trying to play To the Top like Sprint Vector. Need more time with the controls. I'll tell you what, like on the PSVR version, it takes like 20, 5 minutes to get the controls. It really does. There is a learning curve. And for some reason, I've never liked To the Top on Oculus. I don't know why. That's something about the triggers on the Oculus Touch controllers don't work for me with To the Top, because I played To the Top on my Vive originally. And I just got used to it on the Vive, and it just felt so good on the Vive. And then when I tried to play it on the Oculus, I'm like, something's wrong. What is wrong here? And the To the Top devs, Electric Hat Games, they said that like the guy that has like some of the best times ever plays it on the Oculus Rift, on the Oculus. Don't you love it how people say, yeah, man, I got the Oculus. I got the Oculus. I got the Nintendo. Paradise Decay. Oculus Jason Rubin keeps tweeting Capcom and Resident Evil 7 VR coming to PC. Yeah, that's all we need is now they'll make it exclusive to Oculus and everybody will get pissed. New Titanic VR trailer has just released. Full version finally out in August. Is the Titanic VR, is that like an experience thing? Or is that a game? There's some really good experiences in VR. We really do have some great experiences in VR. Charles Van Nolan. Hey, Anthony, what was your story about switching from the Vive to the Rift? Customer service woes? No, the story is one of my lighthouses died. And it's funny because in hindsight, I've seen a number of posts about dead lighthouses and actually bringing dead lighthouses back to life. And I kind of wonder if I gave up on that lighthouse too early. But one of my lighthouses died, and I looked into buying a new lighthouse, and it was just so much money. And then I thought, you know what, there's going to be this was a long time ago, right? And we thought there was going to be a new headset, which there was, the HTC Vive Pro, but we thought it was going to be more of a 2.0 and all of that. And so the Rift, well, I had the Rift and the Vive. I had them both simultaneously. I got the Rift because it was just too cheap. It was this $399. I woke up that one day, summer of Rift, it was $399. I was like, I got to go buy a Rift. Part of the reason was we've had codes from VR Roundtable for all these Rift games, so I'd have like this huge library of games built in, and I'd be playing them natively on the touch controllers. But I'm not like anti-Vive. Other than the service, their service is horrible. The Vive customer service is god-awful. Like, I really think Valve should be a little bit embarrassed of partnering with that company. It's not a good thing. Tenka is the To the Top god. Okay, there's some dude that is really super good at it. To the Top is just a freaking fun game. I love it. But see, I loved those old platforming games, like, you know, Sonic and Arrow the Acrobat, and I feel like it's a first-person, it's like a first-person platformer. We look for a different trailer. Get into a different folder here. Well, there's a bunch of Magic Leap stuff. Nobody wants to see Magic Leap. Oh, let's do Astrobot. Let's throw Astrobot on the screen. Yeah, so I just threw Astrobot up over here because I am super hyped about Astrobot. I think it looks hella good. But what I'm going to do now is let me bounce over to the Vive subreddit and see if there's any news that is breaking or anything to talk about. Yeah, Robo Recall price dropped from 29 to 19. Talked about that. Unnightly updates. You know, Unnightly is a game I've tried briefly, liked it, haven't gone back to it. There's a million games like that. And I feel bad because a lot of these developers, they'll send me a code and I'll play their game maybe once, and if it doesn't super speak to me, I might not end up talking about it like on one of these shows or on VR Roundtable or whatever. And then I have this like I feel bad. Like it's just human nature, you know. Somebody gives you a code, you feel bad. Nog VR with Vive Pro 2.0. You know, Nog looks pretty cool. Has anybody grabbed Nog? I mean, Nog just looks super colorful and super chill. Okay, I went to the PSVR subreddit, see what's going on here. Resident Evil 2 Remake, Capcom says why there is no VR support. I would be interested in finding out why, but I don't want to go into the articles on these dumb websites. It looks like they're saying something about how third person are not popular or something. Maybe that's the reason. But yeah, are you guys the same way? Like, you'll see these Reddit threads, and then you know that you click on it, it's going to some article that's going to have a lot of crappy ads popping up everywhere, and like half the article isn't going to say anything, and then a lot of the stuff is wrong. Like, there's a lot of bad journalism out there. Oh, you know, speaking of PSVR, the developers, there's a game called The Walker. It's from, I believe, a Chinese developer, and I just got a code for that today. So I'm going to be adding that code onto my PSVR later today, downloading that, and I should get into that today. And so on tomorrow's daily vlog, I should have some thoughts about The Walker for PSVR. So that'll be cool. But yeah, not really seeing much news on PSVR subreddit. Let me hop into the Oculus subreddit. Echo Combat Open Beta Weekend starts in 30 minutes. That was an hour ago, so the Echo Combat Open Beta should be live right now. Green Man Gaming Summer Sale. Actually, why don't I click on this and see what the sales are. This is Road to VR has an article on this. So $15 and under, you got like Valkyrie Warzone for $12. That actually is pretty good. Winlands, $9.67. Super Hot for $15. Super Hot is always on sale. Archangel, $11. You know, the single player for Archangel is damn good. I like it. Esper is $5.90. 25 and under, you got Batman Arkham VR is $16. Sprint Vector 24. Sorrento VR. I got to get back to Sorrento. I only played that a couple days. Doom VFR is a game I still haven't really experienced because I need a new video card. Killing Floor Incursion is on sale. You know what I heard about Killing Floor Incursion is a lot of PSVR players really like Killing Floor Incursion on PSVR. Fallout 4 VR is $33. Skyrim, $35. LA Noire, $25. That's another game. LA Noire and Doom VFR, I basically haven't played those games because of my video card, basically. And I think my CPU, too. I think part of it is a CPU thing. But, yeah. All right. I'm not seeing any, you know, earth-shattering news. Let me jump over to Upload VR and see. They don't have any major stories going on over here. So I'll bounce back to chat, and then we might get out of here. So let me go ahead and bounce back to chat. See what's going on. Okay, Pete Shirey, love 2MD football was my first VR purchase when I got my Rift. Yeah, it's just a fun game. Charles Van Nolan, if 2070, he's talking about Cyberpunk. If Cyberpunk 2077 was in VR, I'd cry. I don't think we'll see it for 5+ years due to hardware limitations. Yeah, that's probably the true. Gingerbread says, yeah, I have to get way down to serve the ball in tennis without hitting my ceiling. Yeah, if you had, you know, if you had wireless and if you had vaulted ceilings, and if you had like a really wide room scale, like I think there's going to be a day when we can practically simulate the experience of like being in Wimbledon. Like that's something that could be simulated practically. You know, you're like, you know, you're moving your feet side to side to get the ball. You know, you wouldn't need to have a huge area, you know. And you could have a racket controller that's you're holding, the handle is exactly like a tennis racket. It could even have a weight on it, so it has like the exact weight of a tennis racket, and then it has a really good rumble. So like when the ball, like where you hit the ball, the rumble, you know, somebody can make a freaking killer tennis game eventually. That's going to be super awesome. Let's see, I'm trying to scroll through some of these chat things that I didn't get to earlier. The current version of Titanic VR lets you control a sub and explore the wreck. Full version lets you experience the sinking. Oh, okay. You know, we tried this. We tried this on VR Roundtable. We tried the Titanic VR. It's not too bad. It was kind of cool. Capcom says the third-person view doesn't fit VR. Yeah, but Resident Evil 7 isn't third... Oh, is Resident Evil 2 a third person? Yeah, okay, then I guess that makes sense as far as they're concerned. But because Resident Evil 7 is straight up first person, you're playing with a controller and you just push it. That's dumb. Third person VR works perfectly fine, and there are some incredible... Look at this little trailer we're watching right now. Speaking of third person, that's a beautiful third person game. Speaking of the trailer, though, I should pop on a different trailer. I know a great trailer to throw on. Time Carnage, baby! I really like Time Carnage. This game is so freaking underrated in my opinion. Like, nobody really tripped on Time Carnage. I just think there's a lot of good things about Time Carnage, man. I know it's just a wave shooter, but I really think Wells Interactive did a freaking damn good job with this game. If you keep your expectations in check. But I like Time Carnage, especially if you could grab it for like $10. Let's get a little bit of sound on this. Okay, so going back to chat. You are too quiet. You know what? I have... Maybe because I was standing too far from the mic. Because I have my mic volume at 100%. So I don't know... My mic volume is at 100. I probably backed away from the mic a little too much. Okay, let me get back. Get this chat window up here. Oculus have a new Marvel trailer. Yeah, we played that a little bit earlier. Doom VFR is really hungry about GPU. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just an Oculus thing, but I could never get Doom VFR to run right. Same thing with LA Noire. Just never could get that game to run right. And it might be partly an Oculus situation. Paradise Decay says Edge of Nowhere, Chronos, all amazing third persons. There's tons of great third persons, especially if you get PlayStation VR. There's a lot of good third persons. Kev Gret says Time Carnage grew on me. Lots of content for the price, especially after you beat the game. Yeah, Time Carnage is just... The thing that I love about it, so it's a front-facing game. You're just standing in that one spot, but they designed the game around that, and they have these pedestals that are out there in front of you. And what I loved about it, I actually played this on PSVR, and I would just take my Move controllers, and you just grab your shotgun here. You grab, you don't even have to look. You know exactly, you know what weapons are here and here, and you know what weapons are that you don't even have to look for, and you could feel like such a badass. You're just grabbing your gun, bam, bam, bam. Then you grab this gun, bam, bam, bam. And and when you put them back on the little pedestals, the guns recharge. The graphics are kind of, not that great, and it's just a wave shooter. It's kind of Brookhaven Experiment-ish, but I had a ton of fun with I had a lot of fun with Time Carnage, and nobody talks about Time Carnage. Doom runs on PSVR. Yeah, I will be trying Doom on PSVR very soon, definitely. Charles Van Nolan, OpenVR stuff runs pretty lame by default on Oculus, but apparently you can mitigate it mostly with the super sampling settings in there. Yeah, I never tried like undersampling or whatever, I haven't tried that. Maybe that would help. Yeah, so that's pretty much do it. I think we kind of are going to wrap up the show now. The Walker, where you do no walking, false advertising. Yeah, I'll be trying that later today, so I'm looking forward to that. Paradise Decay says, Nog, I plan to play soon. Yeah, well, Paradise, you play everything. Like, you literally play... I'm curious, Paradise, before I bounce out of here, how do you get a lot of codes? Like, are you buying like half of these games? Like, how much are you spending per month to buy the games that you don't get codes for? Because, man, I got to imagine it gets kind of expensive. See, those of us that are in this game of like YouTube and like websites and stuff like that, we try to get codes for these games, but sometimes we don't get codes. Like, I didn't get a code for Seeking Dawn. You know, I had to pay the money for that, and so, you know, sometimes you don't get codes, sometimes you do. I'm just curious because Paradise, man, you play everything. I was going back up chat to see if I missed anything up here. Ollie says The Expanse didn't get me. Yeah, see, I've only watched like 3 episodes of it, and it's okay. It's all right. I mean, I kind of want to get back to it. See, the thing is, being a sci-fi junkie, there always isn't the greatest sci-fi shows. That's the one thing that sucks about that. Okay, let's get back into chat here. Okay, MG says, what is the next system seller in your opinion? And really, I would say Stormland is the next system seller. And unfortunately, that's a late 2019 title. I think any of the Valve games is a system seller. Paradise Decay says, I get too many codes through various sources. Okay, well, you can always give me one. Steam curators get free games now. Huh. Ali Abdu Ali. Sounds fun to be me. Paradise Decay. Oh, Keymailer, terminals. You know, I've done terminals, and I rarely get codes on terminals. Whitelisted by Oculus. Yeah, I got to talk to somebody at Oculus because, see, we do get some Oculus codes for VR Roundtable, but like VR Game Rankings. See, I'll say to any developer out there, info@vrgamerankings.com. That is the official email for VR Game Rankings. info@vrgamerankings.com. And if you guys want to send me a code, I can't promise I will say anything ever about your game. I will straight up admit that. But what I will say that is I will most likely try your game. And if I try your game, if the game speaks to me in any way whatsoever, I will probably mention it. Because if I'm going to do this daily show, I mean, god damn, I'm going to need some content, right? So I'm going to be trying all kinds of things, like this walker, you know, the walker for PlayStation VR. Like, I'm definitely going to be playing that later today, so I've got something to talk about tomorrow. So that's why it's always nice if somebody shoot, you know, if any of you devs, if you want to shoot me a code. But what I will say though is, like, some of these devs will be like, yeah, but you got to do a lot, you know, you've got to do this, that. No, I'm not, there's no strings attached. So if you want to shoot me a code, I'll give you a fair shake, but I'm not like guaranteeing you like I'm doing this video for you and this video. I don't play that game. I'd rather just not get your code. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, the system seller, I said Stormland, one of the Valve games would be a system seller. You know, on the Sony side, like, what could Sony do? I don't know. I mean, and they have some cool stuff coming, like, you know, Blood and Truth and stuff like that, but it'd be nice if there was like an Uncharted VR. How awesome would it be if, like, Naughty Dog, like if Sony said, look, Naughty Dog, make a killer VR game. Like, how freaking sweet. Wouldn't you like to see what Naughty Dog would do in VR? And I gotta tell you, there's developers at all of these studios that privately, when they go home, they're playing VR. You know, because I guarantee you, a lot of these developers, they're like us. They're nuts like us. They've seen VR, they've seen gaming in general over the years, and they want new technology as well. They want it just as bad as us. I'm telling you, these developers, they get tired of making the same old shit, and so I guarantee you they want to try VR, but it's a financial thing. You know, right now the flat pancake games are paying their bills. It's just one of those things. Beat Saber is a PSVR system seller. It probably will be. It probably will do very well. Also, if you follow devs on Twitter and send them a simple tweet, 9 times out of 10 they send you a key. Yeah, you know, sometimes I'm just not aggressive about going after keys too. Sometimes I forget about it. Like if it's a game, if I'm looking at a game that's coming up that I want to play, like say Torn, for example, like I'll probably shoot Aspire an email saying, bro, I'd love to play Torn. Same thing with like Pixel Ripped 1989. Like I should probably send them an email saying, hey, I would really like to play Pixel Ripped 1989 and talk about it, you know. Now that I'm doing this live stream though, hopefully I'll actually get more codes. You know, but anyway. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for today's show. We went kind of long today, but it is Friday. So sometimes we might go a little bit longer on Fridays. But basically, that's going to go ahead and do it for today's episode of Daily Vlog Live. Subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff, and I will see everybody next time. Take it easy. Later.